Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. All eyes on Utah State University today as the campus prepares to host the next event of Turning Point USA's national tour. You'll recall this is the organization created by conservative influencer Charlie Kirk, who was murdered at another Turning Point event at Utah Valley University earlier this month. Today, the focus is all on security. KSL NewsRadio's Adam Small explains more about what makes today's event different.
This is going to be the first event Turning Point USA has held since Charlie Kirk was murdered at UVU just under 3 weeks ago. That's his organization. We talked about it around the time Charlie Kirk lost his life. They like to make these stops at colleges where kids can go up to a microphone, ask questions to Charlie. But obviously now with Charlie not here, they are trying to continue Charlie's American Comeback Tour is what it's called. And they will be holding an event at Utah State University tonight. So it's expected to be a little bit of an emotional ride with it's their first stop back since they lost their founder. And they've actually got some guest speakers in. And Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman, is going to be one of them. And I talked to them ahead of the event about how he feels being one of those guest speakers tonight.
It was an honor that I would be asked. I hope I do it justice because he had a message of faith and family and freedom and love of country. And it's a very positive message, but he was just so good and so unique in how he carried that message forward unabashedly. And he would take his biggest detractors and say, come, let's have a discussion. And I think that's what we're going to do tonight up at Utah State.
Oh, he sounds very emotional.
Yeah, one thing to know about former Congressman Chaffetz is he was actually at the UVU event where Charlie Kirk was shot, and it's been he kind of told me, like, I'm still feeling all the emotions as can be expected, and I think you hear it in his voice. Like he says, I want to do Charlie and his message justice, and he kind of talked about his relationship with Charlie with me as well before he lost his life.
I was there. I had traded text messages with Charlie. Said, hey, I'm glad to see you coming to Utah 2 times, Utah Valley and then Utah State, and was planning to get together with him. And it's just, I'm still have all the emotions from sadness and sorrow to great optimism. I think that memorial that they did for Charlie after with Erica Kirk's comments, that was as Christ-like as it gets, and I was just inspired by that. And I think a lot of people were, and I hope even more will be in the future.
Does he have a particular message that he hopes to give tonight?
Well, we know that there's going to be, it sounds like from what Jason told me, there's going to be some kind of small memorial because Charlie was set to speak at Utah State sometime after he was speaking at UVU. He had a schedule he was on. So Utah State was a planned stop, but obviously got canceled with what happened. So he told me there's going to be a small memorial. But then from there, as far as we understand, they're going to, if you've watched any of Charlie Kirk's videos on social media, the way he set it up, I'm going to go to a college campus. I'm going to go to a place where people can see me. You set up a microphone, and he lets people come up, ask him a question, and you have a discussion, whether you agree or not. And that's what Charlie Kirk did. So from what Jason understands, he tells me that they're expecting after that small memorial to be able to do something like that, kind of open mic. Come on up, let's talk to ask me a question or ask one of the other panelists, which will be Utah Senator Mike Lee will be one, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, and then Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. From what I understand, people will be able to come up and be like, hey, I have a concern about the economy, or hey, we could see a government shutdown potentially tonight at midnight. Tell me, Governor Cox, what do you think about this? Like, that sounds like what it's going to be like.
And apparently they feel like this is important to continue, even this quickly after his death.
Yeah, and I think the idea of this was to keep Charlie's mission going, and it does seem very quick, but I think it also shows what Charlie's wife Erica and his organization Turning Point USA believe. They believe what he was doing was important, and they felt like, okay, we're mourning, we've had our time to mourn, we're still mourning, but this is an important thing we need to continue. And it's something I asked former Congressman Chaffetz about was, we've seen so many terrible things happen in the country between what happened to Charlie, what happened at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Meeting House in Michigan. We've seen the Minnesota lawmakers losing their lives and all these terrible things recently. So I asked him, like, what do you feel about the importance of having healthy dialogue, disagreeing healthily? And he described it as a battle of good and evil.
This is a fight of good versus evil. And I think the evil side would want to suppress the good side. And you got to be able to make sure that the good who are out there in mass don't feel afraid. They can get up and share their voice in the public square without fear of harm. And here you had the assassination of Charlie Kirk less than 3 weeks ago. You had the attack on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints just this past Sunday. These emotions are raw, but particularly for our younger generation, they need to know they have a voice and they shouldn't cower.
So I have to ask, though, what will be different about this event compared to what we saw at UVU? I mean, what are some of the safety and security things that have been put in place?
So the big thing is that it's going to be indoors. When Charlie Kirk was doing his tours around college campuses, he liked to be outside. He liked to be in like when he was at UVU, he was in central campus in the courtyard, the place where people could see him, people could walk up easily and just come talk. And that he wanted to be approachable. But given, with emotions running high and fear of security, Utah State, they've planned this as an indoor event. And doors open at 5. The event actually starts at 6:30. I do know from the school that they are planning to have extra police presence, a high security presence. And again, the big change being that it's going to be indoors. It's going to be easier to screen people coming in. Because what happened with Charlie, I mean, you had a alleged sniper on a roof where it was almost, I imagine, very difficult to see that kind of thing coming. So this being indoors, I think that is going to be that heightened sense of security with not just law enforcement. You're going to be inside. It's going to be more easily contained. We can all take a breath, and we can all be here and talk and do what we set out to do.
USU says today's security measures at the Spectrum will be similar to how they protect athletic events. Everyone who attends will be required to go through a metal detector. Large bags won't be allowed, and small bags will be searched. Utah State University says their Department of Public Safety has been working closely with law enforcement partners to keep people safe at tonight's event. That includes closer protection of the speakers, better crowd management, and clear communication between the different law enforcement agencies. As a note, though, firearms cannot be banned from this event. According to state law, if someone has a concealed weapon permit, they are allowed to carry on campus, even at high-profile events like this one.